Marshall looking in his eyes.
Well, that's one of the things that the Giants want to do when Elway goes out to the right. There, you see that signal there? That was Mo for Mobley, meaning 89's coming into the game. And there he is. You know that deal where he puts his hand, it's like the Three Stooges trying to block the two fingers in the eyes? That means Mo. And Mo means Mobley.
And Mobley's a big package.
That's a 275-pound Mo.
Elway is 8 out of 10. Vance Johnson on the move, but Elway retreats. Here comes the blitz. Elway unloads. And it's Mobley, and he struggles for enough for a Bronco first down. Pepper Johnson on the stop.
You know, when you get a big guy running across the field, as a quarterback, you can't miss him. Watch, he uses the umpire. He runs right at the official first, then right across the field. Now you got that big target, that 6'5", 270. If you can't find him, you can't see anything.
Stopped by Herb Welch. Dan Reeves was saying to us yesterday, the guy's got a lot to learn, but he's really going to be something. He already is.
I think the way he receives the ball, he's going to be a superstar receiver. He really is. He's a new dimension. They don't have guys that weigh that much out in the open field.
Watson was the man in motion. Gene Lang straight ahead for 3. Stopped by Carson.
You know the Giant defense has been so effective, and of course they were highly favored in this game, but I don't think anyone told Dan Reeves or John Elway about that. They're just going out there and playing them like they're just another group of guys.
They haven't heard about that yet, in spite of everything that's been written.
Yeah, when we talked to Elway the other night, he kind of exuded confidence.
Really.
And had the feeling, I got a secret.
2nd and 7. Ball at the Giant 13, and Elway drops with a lot of time. Complete to Lang inside the Giant 10. He hangs on. Gain of 4, not enough for a first down. Taylor and Patterson on a hit for the Giants.
You know, a group that's doing a good job is that offensive line, because they have that defense of the Giants. They have it pretty well under control, and they are giving John Elway the time.
Tell you, John, he looks very comfortable. You said he looked very confident the other night, but he seems very comfortable with the way things are going. He should be. His team leads 10-7. And then down post again. Elway. Sewell. Kenny Hill on the stop. Gain of 7 and a Bronco first down.
Sewell is one of those guys who can do everything. He's a running back. He's a receiver. He can play outside receiver. Here, Elway is just throwing him on out. Kenny Hill, number 48, is late getting over there, and Sewell gets it down to the 1. Steve Sewell was injured, and Dan Reeves was saying when he was out, we had something like 4 different guys to get what he gave.
He didn't play in the first meeting, the regular season meeting between these two. Stuttered. A tackle lined up at tight end in front. Elway knocked out of bounds at about the 3 by Lawrence Taylor, a loss of 1.
One thing that the Giants do is from that backside, they get those guys up as deep as Elway. Where they say when he really gives you trouble is when he runs away and then you let him double back. Then you don't have a chance. And that's what they were doing that last play. They really just pinned Elway right into the sideline.
2nd and goal then. The ball between the 2 and the 3. Denver leading 10-7. Pat Summerall, John Madden. Super Bowl 21. Straight ahead and nothing is Will Height. He never got underway. Eric Dorsey was the first man to hit him. An assist from Carson.
We were watching the Giants practice, and the coach always yells at them, you know, nose on the ground. Get your heads in the grass. Get down there. Stay low. I tell you, they did a pretty good job of doing that.
3rd and goal now, and they're still at the same place between the 2 and the 3.
This will be a play pass. They do have a tackle. Dave Studdard is playing tight end. It could be a tackle eligible. See him down here at the bottom, 70.
Winder. By Banks. They lose 3.
I think a pass would have been a better call. That run didn't have a chance. They got out there and it was met by about 6 or 7 blue jerseys. But it's going to be out to our right, to the Broncos' left. Ball, they get the guy in the backfield. They get Carson. They get Banks coming from behind. The safety in there. Everyone's in there. Where Sammy Winder doesn't have a chance. Terry Williams got penetration into the backfield, made him cut back, and there's nothing there.
So Carlos with his second field goal attempt of the day. This one from 24 yards out. Kubiak holding. Carlos is no good. Denver 10, Giants 7.
All I want to do is hurt him, cripple him. When the switch goes on, I feel like we shoot.
The talk is over. Now the action begins. Get in here. Stallone.
Why not?
Over the top. Rated PG. Soon everywhere.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
Tastes mighty inviting.
Cheese, glorious cheese.
It's so tantalizing.
Whether you like it saucy, snappy, mild, or wild, real cheese has a taste for you.
Enjoy cheese, marvelous cheese, wonderful cheese, glorious cheese.
If you think I look good, Miss Van Heusen, you should see Jeffrey. After all, it's his shirt.
Van Heusen, for a man to wear and a woman to borrow.
With every Budweiser enjoyed, the promise endures. The promise of genuine quality. Without compromise, without fail. Beechwood aged Budweiser and Bud Light. Genuine proof that somebody still and always will care about quality. And that is a promise.
The Houston Rockets, sparked by the power of the towers, take on the Atlanta Hawks in the flash attack of Dominique next Sunday on CBS Sports.
It's still Denver 10, the Giants 7. Second quarter with 7:40 left to play. Here's the miss.
Well, you know, it looked like Kubiak holds the ball. Now, it looks like just before he kicks it, see him moving in towards him? Looked like he moved the ball towards him. And then Carlos comes in and just pushes it right out to the right. You see it right there? You see it tilt back towards the holder just before he kicked it.
So the Giants start at their own 20. Sims goes back to throw again. Complete. Bavaro. Dennis Smith, the defender. Giant first down.
Hey, Dennis Smith is a big, tall guy, and he still gets out-muscled here or turned around. Watch him by Bavaro. You see, he just can't get over him. He tried to go over the top, and Bavaro just went down to his knees and counted down below him.
First and 10, Giants their own 33, and Sims really aired it out. Goes to work again. Finds Stacy Robinson this time. Outside the 40. Gain of 9.
They talked all week about how they had to stop Joe Morris. There's Dexter Manley of the Redskins, who was trying to stop Joe Morris just a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, the Bronco defense really felt they had to stop Joe Morris, and then lo and behold, they come into the game, and it's Phil Sims that they have to stop and the wide receivers.
Well, down the stretch, it was Sims, when Morris got stopped, that carried the load. Jackson, Tom Jackson, in difficulty. And the Bronco medical staff helping him off the field with 6:40 left in the first half. 10-7.
There are some people who like the taste of Coke. And yes, there are some people who like the taste of Pepsi. But there will always be some people who go out of their way for the great taste of RC Cola.
Welcome back, Brad. All those trips you made paid off. The Avcon people just called and gave us the project. Check your top drawer. There's one more trip I want you to take. Aloha, Brad, and thanks.
When there's something special, people know it.
To you, it's a major office complex. To us at Johnson Controls, it's keeping 68,000 people warm or cool. To you, it's a small office building. To us, it's an updated energy management and maintenance program that pays for itself. To you, it's the Superdome. To us, it's handling one of the biggest computerized lighting jobs ever. We're at work in over 500 cities around the world, creating a better climate for business. Give us a call.
You know, I think Tom Jackson, he's right here. Watch him, Pat. I think he pulled a hamstring. It's a non-contact injury. Watch him. He's coming out here in coverage. And watch as he start there. He just pulls up. Right there. See him pull up and start to limp in that right leg. Looked like he just pulled a hamstring or got a cramp.
Woodard takes his place. Ken Woodard, number 52. 2nd and 2. Manuel in motion. Handoff to Carthon. He's hit by Rulon Jones. He got one. Not enough for a first down.
Rulon Jones is one of the Pro Bowl players on this Bronco defense. And like I said, I think that whole thing is built around him. Let's watch him. He's here. He can come up there and then collapse to the inside. He has great range. He has a great motor. Runs about 110 miles an hour. I mean, he goes for 4 quarters at that same pace.
3rd and short. 3rd and 1. The ball's at the 41. The Giants think they can go wide on short yardage. Instead, they go to Morris, and Morris goes straight ahead and gets the first down. That's a play that no one else runs, but they run it so well.
And it's just such a simple play. It's just a straight dive into the side that Morris is on. I think one of the reasons it's so effective is Joe Morris usually runs across the backfield. And then on that one, he goes right straight ahead.
First down, Giants. Their own 45. Denver leading with 5:13 left in the first half. 10-7. Sims back to throw it. Into the pocket, out of the pocket. Finally gets it out to Carthon, who's hit by Woodard. And he might have gotten a half yard, maybe a 1. Jackson, by the way, sprained his knee on that coverage we saw a minute ago. Non-contact, as John said. We thought it was a hamstring or an ankle or something, but it was a knee. He might be back. Been around a while.
He has been, and this is one of his best years. They thought in the offseason that they didn't want him back, and then he went to worked real hard in the offseason. Really, for one of the first times, got in great shape and had one of his best years this year.
2nd and 9. Tomorrow, hit by Jones, got away from him, stopped by Ryan, and a few more people.
You know, Carl Mecklenburg, number 77, is one of those guys who just loves to play football. Came into the Broncos as a down lineman. He was the last drafter. He's a 12th drafter, 12th round. He said he came in, he said, I was naive. I didn't even know that I couldn't. I thought when you got drafted, you just make the team. He said he was the first guy in his class to get an apartment. And he came in the same year as John Elway.
That's McConkey in motion. Sims back to throw under pressure. Johnson, the receiver. Sims under pressure from Mecklenburg.
I think he gets the pressure, and he really can't step up and get the zip on it. Mecklenburg, you see, he's right down there at his leg. He has one of those leg hook, take, pull downs. And then Sims couldn't step, and then the ball just died on him, and he one-hopped it out there.
Landeta, punt in the direction of Wilhite. Their catch, 38-yard kick. The Broncos take over at their own 15. 1st and 10 with 3:33 left to play in the first half.
Seiko celebrates Super Bowl 21 with Super Gift Time 87. What a golden opportunity to give unrivaled Seiko technology. Fine Seiko design, detail, elegance. Starting tomorrow, participating authorized dealers are offering the most extraordinary values on a special collection of Seiko watches for the dates on your calendar that call for a special gift. Look for the Super Gift pennant in the window. You'll find super buys inside.
First day of work.
Well, wish me luck.
You'll be fine.
Be on time.
Hey, Bill, want to go fishing? Nope, I'm going to work.
Wanna make a good impression.
I hear there's a new kid starting today. Oh, I hope he's cute. We're open in a few minutes, sir.
I think it's a little late to start a new profession. You got what it takes, you know it's true.
You're a real
That
kid.
you'll show them a trick or two.
Let's see, that's 3 bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits, 1 egg McMuffin, 2 sausage muffin with egg, and 1 large OJ.
Are you sure you never did this before?
Thank you. Come again.
How'd it go?
I don't know how they ever got along without me.
Well, I could have told him that.
No matter who wins, it's how you play the game that counts.
All right, both barrels.
Outlaws, Saturday on CBS.
Oh, you can depend on it.
It's the NFL on CBS, and it's Super Bowl 21. The New York Giants against the Denver Broncos. We're live at the Rose Bowl with just over 3.5 minutes left to play in the first half. And the Broncos lead the Giants 10-7. Giants were heavy favorites. Winder is the lone setback. It's Mobley moving over to the right. Elway comes out. From behind. By Leonard Marshall.
That, I think, is where the Giant defense has an advantage against Elway scrambling, is that they have fast guys covering him. Lawrence Taylor is backing off into coverage. We see him, then he comes up. See, he's just spying Elway. He sees he's going to run, then he comes back up, and Leonard Marshall catches him from behind. Now, Taylor on that play is doing what they call a spy. He is just mirroring the quarterback, Elway. If Elway starts to run, he's going to come right at him and make him go right or left.
First sack of the day. A loss of 2. 2nd and 12. Broncos their own 13. Elway back again. Pass complete to Clarence Kay. He was down, and down as a result of contact, but nevertheless. Now they say incomplete.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Kay thought he had it. Dan Reeves thought he had it.
I thought he had it. But that doesn't make any difference, does it? It's what the guys down there think. Benjamin's right here in the middle.
I still think he had it.
Well, they're going to look at it now. They just signaled the umpire who told the referee. And I think we got to look at that thing.
That would be, if it's ruled a completion, enough for a first down and get the Broncos out of the hole. Art McNally in the middle reviewing. Jack Reeder on his left. Jan Van Duzer, all those from the National Football League office reviewing. They're taking another look, and so will we.
I don't know. That one's hard for me to see through his legs to see if it bounced or not. I can't tell.
At first look, it looked like a complete pass. That's how long they've been looking.
You know, I think we have to remember in this instant replay that it has to be conclusive evidence. So the guy has to see that it didn't. We haven't seen it yet. See, and they ruled it an incomplete pass. So if it's not conclusive, then they have to stay with that.
Their communication, by the way, is with the umpire, who is Bob Boylston. Now here's Jerry Markwright.
After further review, the play stands as called. Third down.
Incomplete. Play stands. It'll make it 3rd and 12. Denver back at their own 13. If that play had been ruled the other direction, it would have been enough for a first down. 2:52 left to play in the first half. Denver 10. The Giants 7. Elway this time out of the spread. Under heat, safety. George Martin.
George Martin has had big games against these Broncos. Remember, it was George Martin who intercepted the pass in the first game and ran it in for a touchdown. And now it's George Martin, the 12-year veteran, who comes up with the big play, the sack for 2 points. Number 75 from the outside, working against Ken Lanier. Just keeps going up the field. Elway started to fall into that side, and Martin gets 2 points for his team.
And it's 10-9, 2:46 left to play in the first half. And a safety, it's 2 points, yes. But what else it does to you can be drastic also.
Well, of course, the Broncos now have to kick a free kick to the Giants, and that'll be from the 20-yard line. Now, the Broncos are still huddled up over in the sideline. The free kick can either be your kickoff guy or your punter. Now, I'm sure that they'll use their punter in this thing, and they'll punt from the 20. So the Giants get 2 points. Now they're going to get the ball right back, and usually with pretty good field position.
If it is your kickoff guy, though, in this case it would be Carlos, he can't use a tee. He's not used to that. So it is going to be Mike Horan to Phil McConkey in the middle for the Giants.
And the Giants, the restraining line now is 10 yards, so the Giants return team starts on the 30.
10-9. Denver leading with 2:46 left to play. The Giants have 2 timeouts left in the first half. Kick is not very good. But it gets away from the Giants. McConkey, Tom Flynn chases it down, and the Broncos come out of that one smelling like a rose. As in bold.
Well, the Broncos needed something because they had a great drive the time before. They went all the way down, and then they missed the field goal. And you know that's going to come back to hurt them. Then the next time they get the ball, they give up a safety. So we're in a process right now that the Giants are taking over this game. And the Broncos defense now has to get it back to them.
2:36 remaining first half. Giant ball, 1st and 10, their own 25. Bobby Johnson split wide to the right. Now he comes in motion. Sims goes back to throw it. Gets it upfield to Joe Morris. And Morris taken down by Ricky Hundley. Good open field tackle.
Ricky Hundley, number 98 of the Broncos, the inside linebacker, was talking about being able to see Joe Morris. He said that's tough for an inside linebacker. He said because Morris is short and you can't see him. He said so what we have to do is just read our keys. And if we read our keys, that means, you know, the guards pulling and the tackles blocking down and so on. He said if we read our keys, the keys will take us to where Morris is.
2 minutes left in the first half. Denver up by 1. Ricky Hundley crowds that uniform.
Tomorrow it'll be another game, and Foot Locker will be ahead of it in athletic footwear, just like today. Get it right for your body. Come to the Stripes.
We're letting go, we got a real twist. We got the juice and we can't miss. We got the juice, nothing's gonna stop us. We got the taste, no one else can top us. We got the juice.
In every slice you choose.
The art of investment and financial security requires painstaking preparation, bold strokes influenced by a mastery of expertise, a creative approach to IRAs, annuities, and innovative forms of insurance. As one of the strongest diversified financial institutions, we have the capabilities to turn the business of investment into an art. The Travelers. Have you looked under the Travelers umbrella lately?
Who you rooting for, Chuck?
Giants.
Pop?
Dublin.
It's Denver, Pop.
The Kavanaughs.
Coming up at halftime on the Super Bowl today, this is the 100th anniversary of Hollywood. And at halftime, there will be a spectacular extravaganza of something like 2,000 people saluting what they call the land of make-believe. And Irv and Will also have locker room reports. Brent will be along with Dan Deerdorf to analyze the first half. That's all coming up at the half. 2 minutes left in the first half. 10-9. Denver leads. 2nd and 11. Sims to throw. Has some time. To Maurice Carthon to about the 30. Stopped this time by Mecklenburg and Ryan.
You know, you talk about halftime, you talk about, you know, Brent and Dan Deerdorf. One of the plays I'm sure they're going to talk about is that Clarence K play. Let's watch it again, this time from reverse angle, and it doesn't look like the ball hit the ground. See the ball coming in? It never hits the ground. It looks like Clarence K did, in fact, catch that ball. So now they didn't get that ball, so they had to go in third. Then they got the safety. So that's a big, big play in this first half.
Remember that. Sims, Bavaro up the middle, incomplete. He had a couple of steps on Tony Lilly. Sims just overshot it.
You know that Mark Bavaro is big and he's strong and he's a good blocker, but he doesn't look that fast. But I think he has sneaky speed because somehow he ends up deep behind these guys.
And open a lot.
Open, yeah.
Landetta on the punt. And Wilhite back deep for Denver. He had a great year. Not his best, but not bad. Wilhite, no fair catch. Around the outside to about the 38-yard line where the Broncos will take over. 2 timeouts left and 1 minute and 5 seconds left to play in the first half. Robbie Jones made the stop on Wilhite.
Well, the Bronco defense did a good job of stopping the Giants on that drive because, like I said, they had to take this game back over. They just lost the 2 points. They had bad field position. That K thing, that play that's going to be discussed for a long time, and all those things going against them. Now they turn it around, and they end up with pretty good field position.
1:05 left to play in the first half. There's another Giant timeout. It looks like
that's Perry Williams. It looked like he just went down in the huddle, Pat. The defensive team was huddling right up there. They broke the huddle, and Perry Williams just stayed there.
Well, he made the tackle on the punt return, and maybe it took some time for the whatever collision he had to take effect.
That's probably, he probably got up right about there. They huddled about right where he made the tackle. And as you said, the cobweb probably didn't get cleared from the punt coverage.
I'm not sure they're clear yet.
It looked like when he made the tackle, I think he got hit right under the chin when he made the tackle on that punt return.
Well, let's go back and look, John, and see if what caused that late collapse.
But he's right on the bottom right here, number 23. See him coming in. He got hit. Oh, he got blocked right there. Yeah, he got knocked right out of the frame in that one. He got an elbow up under the chin is what it is.
That's a tough hit when you get knocked out of the frame.
Yeah, and the only thing left in the frame is the bottom of your shoes.
And the cobwebs. 1st and 10. Broncos at their own 37. Elway is going to go to work. Sewell was the intended receiver. He started to turn upfield before the ball was in his possession, as they say. So far, this is the way the game has gone. The Broncos scored on their first 2 possessions. Elway got 158 total yards, and George Martin got the sack on Elway in the end zone, and that made it 10-9. Broncos lead by a point with 1 minute, 1 second left to play in the first half. 2nd and 10. Elway with a lot of time and a lot of arm, and a complete pass to Steve Watson at the Giant 32 out of bounds, stops the clock.
How many quarterbacks do you think can do that?
None.
Go back, scramble to the left, throw across the field, and a complete pass like that. Watch him. Now, most quarterbacks have trouble going to the left and throwing. But going to your left and throwing back all the way across the field, that's not an arm, that's a gun. You ought to have a permit to carry that thing.
That's how Joe Montana got hurt. Moving left and throwing right.
Remember we did the Dallas game and he hit that thing throwing right, that pass 50 yards in the air. I think that was the greatest pass I've ever seen.
Off the wrong foot, all that stuff. For Will Height. Will Height to the Giant 20. A pickup of 11 off the shovel pass. That should be enough and is enough for a Bronco first down.
That's a play you don't see much at shovel passes. Remember, Jack Curtis used to do this years ago with Lee Grosscup at the University of Utah. You just go back like you're going to pass, and boom, just underhanded, shovel it out there to Gerald Wilhite. You get a first down.
Wilhite got some of the turf jammed in his face mask.
Well, that's a good thing about grass. I mean, that's just plain old grass and mud. So you can pick that stuff out of there. If you get artificial turf, it doesn't come off and up into your head thing, and you can't pull the stuff out. See here, they can just take in, pull that mud and dirt and grass, and then just wash it off, and you get a little mud going on the face.
Well, Elway over with Reeves, and Kubiak is number 8, Gary Kubiak, his backup quarterback, who, as a rule, signals in the plays.
Elway, because he's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and wears number 7, he doesn't look as big as he is. I mean, if he had like a 75 on there, you'd say he's a big guy. This guy is a big guy. I mean, he got big hands, he got big arms, he got big legs. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. He's not a little skinny quarterback.
Plus, he walks like a sprinter. He's quicker than people think he is.
Yeah, those toes point inward.
Don't forget, coming up at the half today, the 100th anniversary of Hollywood. Irv and Will, locker room reports. Brent Musburger and Dan Deerdorf analyzing the first half. Here's Elway. Has a man at the 15. Steve Sewell, gain of 6.
Oh, they're saying no.
Incomplete.
I think that means no. I think when the official goes like that, it means no.
It does.
I don't, that pass only went. That pass only went about 5 yards, didn't it? So he probably doesn't care with the incomplete there.
I know one thing, it doesn't take long to get there with that arm.
I'll tell you, they talk about the Elway cross. He throws the ball so hard that he implants the cross of the nose of the football right in your chest. Steve Watson was saying that. You see, here's the ball. See, here's the tip of the ball. You see right here? This right here forms a cross. Well, when Elway gets so much spin on the ball going like this and so much velocity, well, this cross just gets implanted right in your chest. And guys walk around with a lot of crosses all over them.
There are enough ways to get hurt in this game without getting hurt by the ball.
Yeah, well, they got dances, stomps, and stuff. And one of the things there's the Elway cross.
The call stands.
They reviewed it again. Second down. Incomplete. Dan Reeves with the orange Bronco tie on.
Done a heck of a job with these Broncos. Tom Landry ought to be proud of his ex-coaches. In the last couple of Super Bowls, he's had 3 out of 4.
Flag. Elway out of the pocket. Pass out of the end zone, but the penalty marker back. Somebody on the Giant defense jumped. Vance Johnson was the intended receiver, or at least he was the Bronco closest to the ball. Against the Giants.
That'll be 5 yards, and we'll see the jump right there in the middle. Jim Burt was the first guy to jump.
Number 64, defense, second down.
It is against Burt.
He shouldn't be jumping. He didn't go that far. The only time you should jump is if you're going to go a long way. You're going to hang around the line of scrimmage. Don't jump to do it. Whew.
28 seconds remaining in the first half. The score, Denver 10, the Giants 9. Elway looking over the Giant defense. Will Height, I think, was the intended receiver. The ball whistled by him so fast, he didn't even see it.
I'll tell you, with that ear hole, though, in your helmet, you can probably feel it. You don't hear it go, choom, right by you. You just hear that swish goes right in the ear hole. I tell you, this is a big down here, this third down. If they don't get it in here, they're going to have to let Rich Carlos try another field goal.
3rd and 5, the ball at the Giants 16. Jackson split wide to the left. Watson to the right. Look out for him. Incomplete to Mobley, who hits the goalpost. I'm not sure who's bigger.
The goalpost is still shaking. Look at those poles are still shaking.
Yes.
I'll tell you, when you bring a 270-pound load into a post, that post doesn't stop. And now Carlos has to kick into the shaky post. Good coverage. Double team coverage. Mobley's going to go into the post. Gets kind of a spinner on it. Now Carlos has to kick into it, still shaking.
To a shaky post. Some kickers are shaky anyway. From 34 yards out, Carlos. No good again.
Bill Parcells nods. He said, that's the second one. He said, you need some breaks like that. And I think as well as Denver has played in the first half, for the Giants only to be down by 1, I think that's an advantage Giants.
Just looking over on the sideline behind Dan Reeves, Tom Jackson was up walking and looked reasonably healthy, so he might be back.
That Bronco offense has done everything they've had to except get the ball in the end zone on 2 drives, and then they just get the ball out here. Elvis Patterson provided the pressure from the outside.
So they'll let it run down in the first half of Super Bowl 21. And if we're back and talk it over, that's the end of the first half with the score. Denver 10, the Giants 9.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Seiko. Man invented time. Seiko perfected it. And by GTE, the telecommunications consultant to Super Bowl 21.
Whether it's a simple office phone or a large, custom-tailored telecommunications system, whether it's voice only or voice and data, digital switching, transmission equipment, tie lines, Watts lines, multiple long-distance hookups, there's one company that can do it all. No, GTE.
Why sit in the doldrums when you can ride the crest? Get the Atlantic difference. 8% on your money market, guaranteed for 2 months. Call 1-800-4-ATLANTIC and make more money with Atlantic's money market. 8% guaranteed for 2 months. Visit a branch or call Atlantic for an 8% money market. Atlantic Financial.
Cure for post-Super Bowl blues starts when 60 Minutes tackles the issues of the day. Then on Murder, She Wrote, a killer with a lethal playbook puts Jessica on the defensive.
You can't kill me the way you killed the others.
And with a front line like this, it's a whole new ball game. The return of designing women at a new day and time. Then, whether out in the field or in a huddle, it's no holds barred.
You either print that story or I'll take it to a paper that will. It's a great story.
Hard copy delivers. Don't miss the action next Sunday.
From directly above the Rose Bowl, we are at halftime of Super Bowl 21 with the Denver Broncos leading the New York Giants by a point, 10-9. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger along with Dan Deerdorf, and certainly Bronco fans have to feel that they should have 6 more points, 2 more Rich Carlos field goals. He had kicked 10 in a row, 85. The season before, Carlos had an off year. He missed some very big extra points for them. And here this afternoon in this Super Bowl game, now he has missed 2 field goals. Dan, I want to change the topic to instant replay because suddenly I'm having doubts about the whole process because of the inability sometimes to bring back the correct angle, and suddenly the television networks are finding themselves right in the midst of making very important decisions.
Of course, it happened in the first half on the pass to Clarence Kay, which is ruled an incomplete pass. The replay decision comes down after a couple minutes that it stands, but then later, as you say, we bring up a replay that shows it's a good catch.
Let's take a look at that replay right now, Dan, because it took a little while for them to find the reverse angle. And it was John Elway delivering the ball here to Kay. And from that angle, it appeared that Clarence had reached down, grabbed the ball, and made a rolling catch with the ball. And again, it doesn't make any difference that it's CBS. I think everybody should forget that for a moment. I think it's any network's involvement in this process of determining the outcome of a very important game.
Well, we're using 11 instant replay machines, which means that you're putting so much pressure on these guys in the truck to find which one of those 11 machines had that one particular angle. And you're right, it's a pressure that I don't think we particularly want. But at least the system didn't overturn a call. I mean, without the instant replay system, that's the same call we would have had anyway.
Dan, we had, I guess, a touch of deja vu regarding George Martin. Let me take everybody back to November. These two teams played in the Meadowlands. It was 6-3. The Broncos were ahead, and John Elway was driving for a touchdown. This is one of the most memorable plays of the year. Elway will throw the ball out to the right. They cannot get Martin off his feet. Watch the great catch that this former basketball player from Oregon makes, and then he takes off on a touchdown jaunt that put the Giants in front prior to the half of that game. New York went on to win it by 3 points. And then here in the first half of this Super Bowl game, we have seen Elway under enormous pressure, and Dan, wouldn't you know it, it's Martin again.
It's good. Well, how many points has George Martin scored for the New York Giants? I mean, he scored more touchdowns than any defensive lineman in the game, came up with the big play there. And keep in mind that sack and safety on John Elway was the play immediately following the ruled incompletion to Clarence Kay. So if you're a Denver Bronco fan, you have to say if that could have possibly been ruled a complete catch, it's a different ballgame right now.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. See you a little bit later. We're going to be back now with the Super Bowl halftime extravaganza presented by the NFL and GTE right after these messages from your local station.
This is CBS.
My, Wile E. Coyote's using the Donnelly directory again. It's a complete, colorful yellow pages that's better and easier to use. Oh, no. Ah, the Donnelly directory with street maps, white pages, and entertainment guides. It's a better yellow pages. Saved again. The Donnelly directory. It's the yellow pages and much, much more.
George, you still here?
Yeah, teaching a night course.
Along with everything else?
Got an extra expense.
You bought a sports car, huh?
My youngest started college.
I thought you already had one in college.
I do.
Oh.
Yeah. But with teaching at night and doing a little tutoring and getting a loan, we'll do it.
The willingness to work a little harder. That's pride in performance. Some people build their lives on it. We built a bank on it. Pittsburgh National.
I'm Winona Reese from Mingo Junction. You're watching KDKA TV2.
Well, we are back at the Rose Bowl here at halftime of Super Bowl 21. Perhaps the best first quarter that's ever been played in the history of the Super Bowl so far. Then it settled down in the second quarter, and it was not nearly the kind of offensive show that we had. Let's bring Dan Dierdorf back in here to talk a little about the defense, because I think, Dan, really, in the final analysis, it was that giant defense at goal line stand that turned it around.
Yeah, you looked at Denver having the ball inside the 5-yard line. Automatic points, really in a position to score a touchdown. Then it's the big play. They take the sweep, and they don't make anything. And that's immediately followed by Carlos missing on the chip shot. So Giants defensively, while, you know, a shaky start, they've really asserted themselves and taken control.
Dan, it is very tough for a team mentally to have a field goal kicker miss 2 big ones like that in a game like this. They're going to have to try to boost his confidence, not get down on him, and at the same token, go back out there in the second half and continue.
Yeah, it's really not as bad where you might think that you sit in the locker room and stare daggers at the guy and wish bad things for him. It's not that bad, but it is a situation where now you're wondering if you're down, if you're one of the offensive team guys and you're down inside that 25-yard line and you look to that sideline waiting for the kicker to come in, to yourself you're saying, let's go for the first down because I don't want to get caught short again, which they've been caught a couple times.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that a lot of folks look forward to is the halftime show. And right now we have a Walt Disney celebration about ready to start down here on the floor of the Rose Bowl in Pasadena.
Super Bowl 21 and Disneyland salute the 100th anniversary of Hollywood, the land of make-believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. George Burns.
Thank you, Snow White. Pretty girl. A little too old for me. Well, Hollywood is now 100 years old. It's only 9 years older than I am. Maybe when I'm 100, they'll put my name up there. If they don't, I'm moving to Burbank. Okay, now, on with the show.
And we say happy birthday to Hollywood on the day that the Super Bowl turns 21. So we're going to come back and update what happened in the first half. The Denver Broncos leading the New York Giants by a single point. We'll return after these messages from your local stations.
The action doesn't stop when the game's over. When a beautiful starlet takes a fall, Mike Hammer gets fighting mad.
Broke my nose. I don't think so, but we can work on it.
Bernie Kopell guests Wednesday. Then, no matter who wins,
We're looking for a killer.
it's how you play the game
Afternoon, man.
that really counts.
All right, both barrels.
Outlaws, Saturday on CBS.
Oh, you can depend on it.
Now, it's your play.
This is CBS.
When business is done without pinstripes or parking spaces, one familiar tool will still be vital.
Go ahead and start. I'll be right there.
The human voice. Today, Bell of Pennsylvania Business Calling Services provide unsurpassed quality and value. With regional toll calls as loud and clear as they come. VIP volume discounts with lower rates for heavy calling. Watt service with even lower rates for even heavier calling. And 800 toll-free service to invite customer orders.
So everyone agrees. We go with Bell of Pennsylvania.
No one has better quality.
And Bell of Pennsylvania has the low rates we're looking for.
Absolutely.
I agree. No contest. I'll buy lunch.
Give your business a stronger voice. For today and for times to come. Call 1-800-THE-CALL. Bell of Pennsylvania. It pays to call on someone you know.
We were answering an emergency call for Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages.
They're crawling out of the woodwork.
Termites, sir.
Yellow pages like these.
Frank?
This guy says he's got more than yellow pages.
Sure.
I say, what more could I want than genuine yellow pages?
From Bell of Pennsylvania. The book your customers buy from. The book that built your business.
So, what do I do with these?
You're the exterminator. Think about it. Don't be fooled. Advertise in the genuine Yellow Pages. From Bell of Pennsylvania. We wrote the book.
I'm Juanita Wilmore from Coriopolis, and you're watching KDKA TV 2.
5 o'clock now along the Pacific Coast. We're winding up halftime here with the Denver Broncos leading the New York Giants 10-9. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. The Denver Broncos have been a hot offensive team, even coming into this game. They had scored at the end of regulation. Elway led them to that winning field goal drive. And in the first quarter, against that tough Giant defense, quarterback John Elway hit rookie Mark Jackson out of Purdue, and that set up a three-pointer by the Broncos. Bill Sims then hit one of his two tight ends, Zeke Moat, for a touchdown, and the Giants took the lead for Bill Parcells, 7-3 after the extra point. A quarterback draw by John Elway, making 4 consecutive scoring drives for the Broncos. But after that, it was the Giant defense against Dan Reeves of the Broncos. First, it was a goal line stand. Then with Elway backing into the end zone, it was defensive lineman George Martin pressuring him for the field goal that has pulled the Giants to within a point. In the first half of the game, the Denver Broncos had 2 missed field goals, 23 and 34 yards by Rich Carlos. So we stand at 10-9, the Broncos leading the Giants by a single point as we get ready to start the second half. Let's check in with our reporters, and let's throw you down to Irv Cross for the New York Giants. Irv?
Friend, a couple of observations of the first half. Those 2 missed kicks you talked about from Rich Carlos. You know, Giant kicker Raul Allegri told me that your depth perception in this stadium is very close. You can stand at the 50-yard line, and the goalposts appear to be at extra point distance. So when you have a short to medium range kick, you appear to be much closer to the goalpost than you actually are. So you must kick the ball down the middle, not to the right or the left, as Carlos said. He kicked to the right, and the ball drifted by because he's further away than they thought. As far as the Giant players themselves are concerned, they came into this locker room drained. I think this heat has really affected them. They haven't played in this kind of weather since September. They're going out now. There's not a whole lot of emotion, but they've got serious looks on their faces. Well,
Irv, I'll tell you, there's an injury report here from the Denver Broncos dressing room, and it's not good for Bronco fans. Tommy Jackson, their fine linebacker, will not play the second half. He went out, but without pads. He had an injury to his right knee in the first half, and it was all iced down. But let me tell you this. The Denver Broncos did not come here down at the half. They weren't crying about the second missed field goal. What they did was get angry. They started yelling going into the locker room. And Rulon Jones set the tone. He says, we got the Giants where we want them right now, and we're going to beat them. And that's the way they walked back out onto the field for the second half. Now to you, Brent.
All right, Will, thank you. Interesting statistic. 186 yards the Broncos accumulated against that Giant defense. The Giant average for a game is only like 187. Let's send you over now to the gentleman who set the scene for the second half. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat?
Well, Brent, I think everyone who suspected and talked about this was going to be a blowout. We got a solid, good football game. It's 10-9, as you said. John, how'd you see the first half? How would you review it?
Now, I really think that the Broncos played better than the Giants did the first half. And I think that, you know, it's easy to blame the kicker. I would say that Rich Carlos got down there and he missed 2 field goals, and he did. But still, you know, the first drive, the first one he missed, the Broncos were down on the 1-yard line, first down on the 1, and they didn't get it in. Then they got down to the 5, and they didn't get it in. They had 6 downs to get it in inside the 5, and then they didn't do it, and then Carlos got it there. So I think combination of Denver playing very well offensively, but not playing well on the goal line, or the Giants playing very well on the goal line.
But for the 2 misses of field goals, it could be 16-9, and we have to go back and look at that safety again and the play that preceded that. That could come back to be a major factor in this game. It's 10-9, Broncos at the half.
It began with a plan and the determination to go for it. General Motors made a commitment to build the highest quality cars in the world. They invested in the future, and now it's paying off. Today, GM brings you the result of 5 years of single-minded, dedicated effort. The best quality, best value GM cars ever built. The best warranty program offered by any American car manufacturer. GM's 6-year, 60,000-mile commitment. The vision is paying off.
I think there are 3 nevers to being a winning coach. Never let the press pick your starting quarterback. Never take a last-place team lightly. And really, no matter what the score, never let them see you sweat.
That's what Dry Idea aerosol is all about. Maximum control. It keeps you drier than the leading aerosol.
Everyone feels pressure. Winners don't let it show.
Dry Idea. Never let them see you sweat.
So you're into statistics, but here's a few you may have missed. Over the last 5 years, cocaine-related deaths have tripled, while deaths involving heroin have more than doubled. Each year, tens of thousands who gamble with drugs pay the ultimate price. If you don't believe these numbers, see for yourself. Because here is where they keep all the final statistics on file.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. Engineered like no other car in the world. Allstate. For home, auto, and life insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. And by DuPont. Better things for better living.
It's the NFL on CBS, and it's Super Bowl 21. And it's 10-9 between the Broncos and the Giants, and the Broncos hold that 1-point advantage. And we're in Los Angeles. We've saluted Hollywood. We look at the Rose Bowl, sold out. 105,000 people. And again, anyone who thought this was going to be a dull contest was incorrect. Those views from overhead of Los Angeles itself and the Rose Bowl are from the Slice blimp. Super Bowl history, halftime leads, the average first 20 games, the lead was 10.7 points. Today it's only 1. Lee Roussan and Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants for Carlos kickoff. And it's Roussan outside the 20, outside the 30. Out of bounds at about the 37 by Mike Harden.
As Phil Simms comes on, Pat, we looked at, he was also patient in that first half, throwing that shorter stuff. 8 for 8, under 10, 4 for 6. The between 10 to 20 yards. So all his completions were in that area. Now, he only threw one in the 20 to 30, and none deeper than that. They were all incomplete. So he's been in that area from the line of scrimmage to the 20-yard line with all his completions.
Morris and Carthon behind Phil Simms for the Giants. Bobby Johnson goes in motion. Now Morris to the outside. A gain of 3 by Steve Foley.
Yeah, Pat, we talked about how they moved Carl Mecklenburg around, number 77. Look how he did it in the first half. Well, look where he lined up. He lined up in 7 different positions. Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator, tries to put him where he thinks they're going to run. And look at this distribution all the way across the line. Most of them he lined up 7 times on the left side.
2nd and 7. Roussan is split out wide to the right. Mecklenburg stayed in the middle that time, and now retreats in coverage, and Simms gets it outside to Maurice Carthon. Outside the 40, about the 43, a gain of 4. Stopped by Andre Townsend.
Yeah, we talk about distractions. We were talking about it at halftime, and everyone talks about distractions of the Super Bowl. I think one of those distractions and one of the tough things is the long halftime. You're used to going in there just talking a little, boom, coming right and back out. Now, this halftime is double the length of normal.
3rd down and 3. The ball's at the Giant 44. Joe Morris. The handoff from Simms. Going for the first down, and he won't get it. Lewis Wright, the first man up there, the veteran who has played and played so well for so long. They keep saying number 20 is going to slow down, but he hasn't.
Well, that's the thing that they said they had to do, is they had to stop Joe Morris, offensively number 20, so Louis Wright, defensively number 20, does it. As you said, he's been in the league 12 years. Now, that's a long time for Louis Wright, for anyone, but especially when you're playing cornerback.
2 feet short. Vendetta already on the scene looking at things. Will Height goes back for Denver. The Broncos lead at 10-9. Is 1 punt return, 9 yards.
It's funny, the Giants came out in the first half, and I think that was a better approach. They came out, we're going to throw. We're going to loosen you up. We're going to attack you. And they come out in the second half, and they're going to run.
Look out, Rutledge.
This could be a fake punt. It's a trick.
Rutledge with a long count, hoping they'll jump offside. Now Godfrey is the center.
They only need less than a yard, and he can run an option.
Rutledge, the quarterback, runs for the first down. Nobody jumped offside, but it worked.
Did you see the smile on Bill Parcells' face? Those are gutsy calls. You go for it on 4th down. Everyone wants you to go for it when you're a coach. But then when you do go for it, that takes a lot of guts to call it. It's easy to put in, hard to call. Jeff Rutledge, they get a double team on the nose tackle, and Rutledge just runs right to the right.
They got the first down.
Look at the smile on Parcells. I had the guts to go for it. You guys had the talent to do it. Which is more important?
They both are important. Rutledge, who did the quarterback sneak, got the first down. Giants at their own 47. Now with the regular offensive setup back in there. Simms back to throw. Up out of the pocket. Off to Morris. Or to McConkey. It was Morris. Mecklenburg got him down for the gain of 12.
Joe Morris is really known as a runner. I mean, he's more of a running back. He's really not a blocker. He really hasn't been a receiver. He said that for him to be a complete back, he said he'd like to be a better blocker and a better receiver. He said he's really not. He said, I'm not really a halfback. I'm just a running back. That's all I am.
Can't block when you carry the ball all the time. Roussan has replaced him now. He He's back there with Maurice Carthon. Sims back to throw. Got some time. Down the middle, Roussan. Inside the Bronco 20.
Okay, that pass pattern has been amazing for the Giants. It's what they call a seam pass against the zone. What they do is they put a wide receiver down here, a back down this seam. If the safety goes over here, they hit here. Now watch, they just get two guys streaking down the field together. You see the outside receiver go and the halfback. You see him now, that puts a bind on that safety. If he goes back, he hits Roussan. If he goes over, he hits Roussan. If he stays, he can get the outside guy.
First down, Giants at the Denver 17. Morris again. Around the corner. Inside the 15, about the 13. Hit first by Ryan. A gain of 3.
Did you see Dennis Smith come flying in there, number 49? Watch him right there. Carthon's going to block him. Watch Carthon go down, upend Dennis Smith. That play could have been a 5-yard loss if he makes a tackle. Good block by Maurice Carthon.
Gain of 3, second and 7. Giants at the Denver 14. Bobby Johnson and Lionel Manuel both split wide to the left. Sims looking in that direction and now to the right. Complete to Carthon. Knocked out of bounds at about the 14. By Wright. A gain of only 1.
You were talking about Louis Wright being a 12-year veteran playing corner. Dan Reeves was telling us that he thought one of the best games he had was against Cleveland. 12 years, one of the best games he had tackling and playing the run was just 2 weeks ago. Now, it's amazing that a guy can run fast enough for that many years to be a cornerback.
3rd and 6. Galbraith in the backfield with Sims. Conkey on the move. Sims to Bavaro, touchdown.
The guy never says anything, Mark Bavaro. He hardly ever smiles, but I think we caught a smile on that one. Watch him. He started from a 2-point stance. He gave Dennis Smith a little push to the outside, then he went inside.
Allegre will try the extra point with Rutledge holding.
Hey, you go back on that play and you give credit Sims throwing the ball to Bavaro. You also have to give credit to Bill Parcells for calling a 4th down run.
Back in his own territory.
Hey, he's done an outstanding job, not only this year, but ever since he's been there, building a team.
Putting this package together.
Gary Markwright didn't turn his mic on or it didn't work. You got to hit it.
There's Phil Sims, who threw the touchdown pass to Bavaro. His first touchdown pass went to the other tight end, Zeke Mott. Allegre's extra point is right down the middle. 16-10. Giants lead. The touchdown coming up. We have 10:08 left in the 3rd quarter. Sims to Bavaro.
Ours, as you know, is not a perfect world. May I? That's why it's so refreshing when something really perfect comes along. Like Diet Coke. Tastes great straight or on the rocks. Yet it's just 1 calorie. That's why Diet Coke is the perfect soft drink. For an imperfect world.
It was was the ultimate test of endurance, equivalent to more than a lap around the world in 8.5 days. This Mercedes-Benz traveled 31,000 miles, averaging over 154 miles per hour, stopping only seconds at a time for fuel and fresh drivers. Indeed, only seconds were needed, because during the entire trip, not a single mechanical failure occurred. High performance is exciting. High performance and reliability is Mercedes-Benz.
At Sheraton, we know that little things mean a lot. That's why just one number gets you reservations at any Sheraton in the U.S. or 63 countries worldwide.
Beginning March 1st on CBS, people who go against me pay a price. You feel the fury. Now, see who it destroys. Judith Kranz's I'll Take Manhattan.
From the sliced blimp, the sold-out Rose Bowl, Super Bowl number 21. The Giants have recaptured the lead. Their scoring drive, 9 plays, 63 yards. Sims, a touchdown pass to Bavaro, and Phil was 5 out of 5 on that drive. Allegre to kick it off. He'll kick off from the 40. And again, they're out to check on, as John Madden said a minute ago, Mark Bright's mic is not working. Back to the touchdown.
Let's watch the touchdown. See, they line up 2 receivers here. This is Bavaro here. But they want to get some movement, so they come in motion. Now Bavaro and McConkey are going to run down here. They get a kind of a big mess here. Bavaro breaks out of it and in here for a touchdown. They start 2 receivers on this side, 2 on that side. Now they have 3 on that side. And then you see right there, if we can stop it there, you see that they got him. They got him to the outside and to the inside, and Bavaro broke into the end zone.
Allegre kicks off from the 40, kicks it out of the end zone. Denver was offsides on the extra point. That's why he did it from the 40. But there's a flag down back from where he kicked, back at the 40. Allegre going back out for his tee. Giants offside. They'll do it again.
Well, that'll even it up. As you said, the Broncos were offside down there on the extra point. So then they got to kick 5 yards closer. You know, Allegre is down there, Pat. I don't know if he's doing an exercise or... You know, it looked like after the extra point that he limped a little bit. And he looked like he's trying to stretch out his leg.
Yeah.
Once the extra point, it looked like here that he could have twisted something there. Because when he starts to walk off, looks like he's favoring it. You see there? And then when he kicked off, he kicked it into the end zone, but he went down and started doing exercise.
Stretching again, yeah. Now he'll back up to the 35. Denver will have Lang and Bell back deep. Allegre lost his advantage.
You know, with all that paint there on that 35-yard line, he's trying to find a good place. See that it'll hold that T square. Because they have all the paint and stuff and aberrations.
Kick off to Lang. He takes it at the 1. They would have been better off to take it like it was. They would have headed it at the 20. Byron Hunt and Tom Flynn down to make the stop. Elway.
You know, here's the Elway distance throw. We see he was 10 for 14, under 10 yards. That's the patience part we talked about. 1 for 4 in the 10 to 20, then 20 to 30, 1 for 1. None there, and then over 40. Now those 2 long ones, over 20 and over 40, were both those scramble plays. That's where he gets his big plays and his deep passes.
1st and 10 Broncos from their own 14. Giants 16-10 leader. Pass deflected. Looking for Vance Johnson. But someone knocked it away.
You see John Elway, he did a twirl on that one before he threw it. Watch him, he's going to spin right around circle. You see him, he goes all the way around. Then he comes back. It did affect the linebacker. See the linebackers start to come that way? Then he tried to throw the shot in there.
It was George Martin who got the hand up and knocked it away. 2nd and 10. Denver's at their own 14. Elway back again. Under pressure. One-handed catch by Vance Johnson. A gain of only 5, but that's remarkable. And he gets up slowly.
Hey, Dan Reeves is upset about something. I think it was that hit right there on Vance Johnson by Harry Carson. I think Dan Reeves thought it was late. Johnson makes the tackle, or the catch, and he's down. Then Carson does come in there a little late.
And they help Johnson off. 16-10 Giants over Denver.
Take me back where I belong. Take me where it's safe and warm.
The Goodyear Vector is the all-season radial that pumps water away to keep more tire tread on the road. And for some, that's a comforting thought.
Take me home. Goodyear, take me home. Never matters how far I go. Goodyear, take me home.
You know, Jerry, you're a terrific husband and a super salesman.
Hey, Beth, what is this?
A financial genius. You're not.
Very few of us are. We can help. At New York Life, we have the resources to make the most of your resources. We offer a range of financial opportunities, including mutual funds, universal life, and limited partnerships. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Get the most out of life with New York Life.
I've tried it. Now I believe it. Denerex Tingles tells me it's doing more. Head and Shoulders, no tingle.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denerex adds both an extra anti-itch medicine and conditioner, too.
Goodbye, Head and Shoulders. Hello, Denerex.
If you swallow a cold pill for your stuffed nose, you have to wait for it to travel all through your body before it gets to your nose. But Tristan Nasal Spray gives you fast relief right on the nose.
Join us at Pebble Beach where the pros are stars and the stars play like pros. Another 8.
Here's why Dan Reeves was so upset.
See, Vance Johnson is down, and then Harry Carson comes and gets him while he's down. And watch what Reeves had to say. I think he was right.
3rd and 5. 9:22 left, 3rd quarter. Giants ahead by 6, and Elway retreats. Elway, incomplete. Wilhite, the intended receiver. And Horan will come on. Banks was the defender closest.
And John Elway is the guy that's going to have to do it for the Broncos. Remember the first play of the game, Elway ran for 10 yards. Since then, they've ran 11 times, and they've only gained 4 yards. So if they're going to do it, it has to be with the pass and with Elway.
Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants. His punt returns on the year. And Horan back to kick, left-footed. This is one of the areas where Dan Reeves thinks the Broncos have drastically improved since the first of the year. Good kick. McConkey, no fair catch. At his own 39, with room. McConkey gets it into Denver territory to about the 36 before he's stopped by Woodard. A 42-yard punt, a 17-yard return.
You don't think Phil McConkey is an exciting guy and an excitable guy? And has that contagious effect on the rest of the guys? Watch him, he'll return a punt, then he'll go over and pick up a towel and start rooting. Hey, he's a tough guy. Watch him here, he starts the thing, waits, let a blocker come up, and take it right up the middle. He stays fired up.
He really does. The ex-helicopter pilot in the Navy still thinks he's flying. 1st and 10 Giants from the Denver 36, and it's Morris. Morris over the middle, inside the Denver 30. Stopped by Ryan, but a gain of 7. Oates with a good block up front.
Well, the other, you know what happened is they got a kick out on Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith, the strong safety of the Broncos, is getting up in the backfield, but they're making good blocks on him. Now watch here, the ball's going to go to the left here. Now watch, you see the center, Bart Oates, is going to come and lead. And see right there, he gets Dennis Smith. Smith was there, but he gets blocked and doesn't make the play.
Morris again. Stopped this time by Hundley. A loss of 1 or 2. Bill Belichick, their defensive coordinator, over on the bench. Again, riding upside down. Third on the Denver bench.
Well, that's the offense there. That's Billy Bryan, the center. Usually the center makes most of the calls for the offensive line. That's why the coaches talk to the center. He's the guy that has to call the defense and then call the blocking that they're going to use.
3rd and 5. That's Tom Flynn that the trainers are looking at over on the Giants sideline. That's Manuel in motion. And the handoff is to Morris. First down and more. Steve Wilson on a stop, a gain of 9. That's what they thought they could do. Run wide on 3rd down.
Well, that's what they were talking about, is they wanted to start, and they wanted to start passing, loosen up this defense, and then come back and then run later in the game with Joe Morris. And that's exactly what they were doing. They opened up early, threw the ball, got this Bronco defense, and now they give him a dose of the running back.
Morris comes out 58 yards and 13 carries. Roussan in his place. They run it this time with Roussan. Woodard on the stop.
Yeah, this is a big secret to this Giant offense or the success, is averaging 6.8 on first down. Now that means that you're coming up and you're second and short. You're second and 4 or 5, and then you can end up 3rd and short yardage. You can go for it on 4th. Everything is in your flow.
2nd and 9. Sims back to throw. Again has time. To Manuel. Stopped by Louis Wright. Close to a first down.
The Giant offense wanted to give the Bronco defense a lot of movement because they like to change their defenses and shift. So they figured they'd let them get up there and then they'd give them a lot of motion. Just like Lionel Manuel came in motion that time and got that play. That's a plan the Giants wanted to do to the Broncos all day.
This guy, Manuel, although he hasn't been the most publicized individual this week, adds another element to the Giant offense and adds a first down.
Well, at practice on Wednesday, they said that that was probably the best day of practice that Lionel Manuel had all year.
1st and 10 Giants at the Bronco 12. Giants leading 16-10. Clock running with 5:50 left, 3rd quarter. Hawthorne.
Hawthorne, the ball carrier.
Right side, 2 perhaps. Stopped by Jim Ryan again. And Mecklenburg.
I think when I had a run down here in a running situation, I think I'd try and get the ball to Joe Morris. I mean, he's been the guy that's been there all year and being able to get those first downs and those big plays and those touchdowns for me. And I think if I had a first down run, I'd give it to him.
2nd and 8. They're at the 10. I think you're going to get your wish right here, or your thought. Oh, Sims is going to throw. Sims is going to run. At the 5, Ricky Hundley and Woodard. But Sims got 5.
See him get up there and smile. They don't like to do this a lot. In fact, Joe Collier said Bill Sims hasn't run much this year. He said he used to run a lot more. He said, what the heck, it's a Super Bowl. It's the last game of the year. We expect that he'll run with the ball.
He'll take off. I don't know if that's a smile or a grimace.
It started as a smile and turned into a grimace, like one of those headaches that you get up there. Migraine.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a migraine. I think that's a contact.
It happens to do that, you know, and it just stays up in there with you.
4:42 left. Giants, after Sims scrambled, took a timeout. Their bench and their fans are on the near sideline, and that's the noise that you hear right now.
Well, I think you're right. You know, when he scrambled and he got the cobweb in his head, I think that was a smart thing. You know, take the timeout, let him get everything back together again, because what you have is a third down play coming up, and you don't want a woozy quarterback doing that.
3rd and 3. The Giants are at the Bronco 5.
There's Carl Nelson, and that looks like a tackle. See, you got that sweat going down there. There's wet. You rub off a little. You got that thing hanging off the nose there. Hair's all messed up. Joe Morris, he got the sweat going. Now, that was one of the things Bill Parcells was worried about, and I think the worry is, you know, about the conditioning and the guys being able to go for 4 quarters. I think if it is going to be a problem, it's going to start now. It's going to be a 4th quarter problem.
It has started, obviously, because the sun has gone away, to be a lot cooler than when we began. It was 77 degrees when the game started. Now, that's not as much of a factor. 3rd down and 3, the ball at the 5. It's Morris and Carthon behind Sims. It's Manuel in motion. It's to Morris. He won't get the first down. He got only 1 yard. Rulon Jones was the first man to make contact. Now, let's see about Allegre, who was perhaps injured before, but look at the play first.
Well, see, that's that counter play, the counter tray, where you take Morris takes a step to the right, then gets his right guard and tackle pulling, tries to get in behind him, but he cut away from him.
So Allegre, who appeared to have some sort of maybe a pull or some kind of an aggravation when he kicked the last extra point and then kicked off, is back in the game and will try from 21 yards out. Now he seems okay, and the kick is okay. With 3:54 left to play in the 3rd quarter, the Giants 19, Denver 10.
Late one night, when all the families and all the houses all across the land were fast asleep, all of their old family cars were taken away. In their places were left shiny new Honda Accords. And they all drove happily ever after.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes is America's cereal, pure and simple.
They're light, they're crispy, they're full of flavor, they're nutty kind of crispy, real good stuff.
Man, I get into it. I get me a big bowl of them.
Kellogg's is the original Corn Flakes. Nothing comes close.
I think it has a nostalgia quality to it, like an old rock and roll record. It's one of the last of the best. What else can you say about it?
Corn Flakes from Kellogg's. It's what cereal is all about.
It was so simple. Really. A direct electrical charge here heats up the carbonized filament here, which in turn excites the gases trapped in here. And voila!
Well, it's very nice, Thomas. But I wanted a Bud Light.
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Don't feel bad, Thomas. It's not a complete loss.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
Behind the headlines, the hard work, the heartache, and the heat. Tonight, after Super Bowl 21, it's Hard Copy.
A lot of blimps in the area, including the Goodyear blimp. Super Bowl 21, looking down at the Rose Bowl. What a sight. What a sight. Allegre kicks off, line shot, kickoff, sails into the end zone to Lang, gets away from him, and they'll down it there. We talked about it at the half, John. There's Dan Reeves, of course, the Broncos coach, about what happens once you get inside the 20. If you come away from there with nothing or with whatever.
Well, we'll see what happens. Both teams have been inside the 20, inside the opponent's 20, 3 times. But the Broncos only have 7 points, and the Giants got 17 points out of it when they were in there.
Elway and the Broncos with 3:46 left, third quarter. Take over from their own 20. Wilhite is the lone setback. Banks broke free. Elway got away from it. Pass incomplete. Steve Watson, the intended receiver. Nobody blocked Banks, but John Elway, a tremendous athlete, got away from him.
Banks is looking up there. He's looking up at the replay to see if they would show what he did wrong so he could correct it. They knew that. They knew that Elway was not only a scrambler, but he was hard to tackle. In fact, the last time they played, Lawrence Taylor had him 3 times, and Elway got away from him.
Out of his last 11, Elway has completed only 3. Watson wide right. Screen pass, Wilhite. Wilhite to about the 27-28, tracked down by Leonard Marshall and Elvis Patterson. Kubiak giving the signals to Elway. Denver comebacks, the last 4 wins of '86. That's what happened. That's where they trailed. That's what they did. So don't count them out. 3rd and 3 with 3 minutes left to play, third quarter. Complete. Clarence Kay was the intended receiver. Banks the defender.
I'll tell you, that was a great play by Carl Banks. It was a 3rd down. Watch here, right at the bottom of the thing. There's 58 going against Mobley. Watch how he hits him. Mobley is trying to use the official there. Mobley goes in front of him. Banks goes behind him and still knocks the ball down.
Mobley saying, hey, look, this guy was on my back.
No, that was great pass defense. That was a heck of a play by Carl Banks. And Mobley tried to use the umpire, and they just sandwiched the old umpire.
Moran back to punt, and McConkey back deep for the Giants. He set him up the last time with that good return. Good kick this time. McConkey fair catch. Makes it at his own 32. The ball was up there for 5 seconds. So with 2:38 left to play in the third quarter, it's the Giants 19, the Broncos 10.
You can't drive at night anymore. Did you know that? Mom told me that. I mean, that's really nothing.
I know.
I mean, 5 years, 7 years from now, what happens then? He won't ask us. Even if he needs our help, he won't ask us. So we've got to do something. We're the ones, you know.
Budweiser, proud sponsor of the Stars and Stripes, salutes Dennis Conner and his crew as they sail for the America's Cup.
You make America work, and this fight's for you.
The tax laws are changing. The deductions on interest are changing. So maybe you should apply for a card that doesn't charge interest. The American Express card. Apply now. Just look for this display.
Gosh, Clark, we've got to get back to the office and call London before the meeting's over. Taxi!
With the AT&T card, your people have the power to handle business better.
Taxi!
From anywhere to anywhere.
Come on, Clark.
It's okay, Lo. Everything's taken care of.
You always disappear in an emergency.
Order the AT&T card. It gives your people enormous abilities.
Rose Bowl, the Giants 19, the Broncos 10. The crowd today, 101,643, fourth largest in history. Giants by 9, first and 10 at their own 32. Navarro again moves over and sets down on the right side.
Head running back.
Morris.
Joe Morris.
A gain of 1. Ricky Hundley on the bottom of the pile. Here is another thing that we talked with Bill Parcells about. And he said one of the things that the Broncos do best is strip the ball out of there. They practice that.
And you know, when you're down 19 to 10, now you really want it because there hasn't been a turnover yet in the game. And that's the thing that the Bronco defense has to go with. Make something that get the ball back for your offense and hopefully in good field position.
Second and 8. Sims quickly outside. Manuel. Past the 50. Covered by Dennis Smith. Super Bowl number 21 live at the Rose Bowl on CBS. And that's the situation right now. The Giants 19, Denver 10, 1:55 left third quarter. Sims has thrown 2 touchdown passes. George Martin tackled Elway for a safety. That pretty well covers what the scoring has been about. Again, Bavaro moves from left to right. Kamara.
Joe Morris.
To about the 46, Ricky Hundley on the tackle. Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, George Martin over on the Giants sideline. Still work to do over on the other side of the field. More work to do. Second and 6. Sims is 7 of 7 this half. He worked again. Here's one of the wrinkles. Going deep for Bobby Johnson. Phil McConkey now. McConkey head over heels at about the 1 or 2 yard line. A gain of 44.
And that's a celebration. Phil McConkey wanted a Super Bowl touchdown. He said it's a great play. We're going to get the touchdown. But I want it when it goes down in the record. McConkey scored a touchdown. That was off the flea flicker. That excites him. Watch him here. Sims is going to hand off, pitch out to Joe Morris. He spins, turns around, back to Sims. McConkey is coming all the way across the field. He catches it wide open. Now he sees that end zone. Make a fake, make a do, make a flop. But he didn't get in the end zone.
It was a good move, though.
Oh, it's a flop. Look.
First and goal at the 1. And it's Morris. Touchdown, Giants. Seconds left in the third quarter, and Bill Parcells wants no early celebrating.
That's right. He told his defense, you got to stay fired up. You got to get it back.
Rutledge holding for Allegre.
Hey, on that touchdown to Joe Morris, Chris Godfrey, the right guard, made a nice block. Watch him. He's going to get Dennis Smith. Watch 61 right there. See him pulling out. Here comes Morrison behind him. Watch him right there. He gets the outside man, and Morris can get right into the end zone.
24 seconds then left in the third quarter, and the Giants increase their lead to 26 to 10. Sims, 20 out of 23, 226 yards and 2 touchdowns, and another one had set up the third.
I felt for a long time that Phil Sims was maybe the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. And I think this year at the end of the season, this game, he's proven it.
When you got a quarter to go and plus 24 seconds, it's hard not to smile.
Yeah, but you still have to play that last quarter, and you still have to play defense. And those are the guys that are fired up anyway, and they're firing each other up.
Allegre's kickoff into the end zone deep again, and Denver will start from their own 20. 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Nose tackle Greg Cregan. And the Giant fans, at least, are starting to sing. Elway flushed out of the pocket, chased down by Marshall. The third sack of Elway. Marshall's second.
You see Lawrence Taylor celebrate over there? It looked like John Elway dropped the ball.
Did.
That's why he started to go back. He felt Marshall coming from his left. Lawrence Taylor was coming in there. Watch him here. He has the ball. He feels that pressure from the left. He tries to step up. He had pressure from both sides. No, I think George Martin knocked the ball out of his hand. Bounced up. And then Marshall got it. And then Lawrence Taylor celebrated. Watch Lawrence. I didn't get him, but watch this one. Oh, somersault. Up and down. Piston. Flop.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Giants 26, the Broncos 10. And we now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS.
We were answering an emergency call for Bella, Pennsylvania Yellow Pages.
They're crawling out of the woodwork.
Termites, sir.
Yellow Pages, like these.
Frank?
This guy says he's got more than Yellow Pages.
Sure.
I say, what more could I want than genuine Yellow Pages?
From Bella, Pennsylvania. The book your customers buy from. The book that built your business.
So, what do I do with these?
You're the exterminator. Think about it. Don't be fooled. Advertise in the genuine Yellow Pages. From Bella, Pennsylvania. We wrote the book.
What time is it?
Too late to be here.
You know, we gotta be crazy.
Yeah, but who are we doing it for? Ourselves.
You ever think we'd have our own business?
Name a better team than you and me. All we needed was someone to back us.
Yeah. And the energy to put in 16-hour days.
The willingness to work a little harder. That's pride in performance. Some people build their lives on it. We built a bank on it. Pittsburgh National. You can feel it. A fast start. Quick response and smooth performance.
Running smooth and silent. Exxon.
Try Exxon Extra Premium. Its powerful detergent additive XCO12 can clean fuel injectors in as little as a single tankful, while its high-octane power formula keeps you running smooth.
Running with the tanker. Exxon.
I'm Kerry Monteleone from Daytona Heights. You're watching KDKA TV2.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. The Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. No matter how far you go, Goodyear takes you home. And by Unicef.
Denver ball. Second down. Flag down. Elway chased into the end zone after being sacked the previous play by Marshall. Just to give you an idea of how the Giants dominated the third quarter, they had 163 yards. Denver had 2.
Boston, number 76. Defense. Second down.
Lanier, the violator.
As we'll watch, it's down here in the bottom. You see, I think Lawrence Taylor causes a lot of penalty. You see guys jump before the ball is snapped. 56 causes a lot of that because the guy knows he's so quick, he's so strong, But you have to be ready. You have to be set when he comes, so they set a little before he comes.
Second down and 25. Elway standing right on the goal line, right on his own end zone line. He retreats into his end zone. Pass picked off by Elvis Patterson. Stopped by Watson. Flags come flying. But the Giants will have possession. The first turnover today.
You know, that's the trouble with that patience thing, that short passing game. You can stay patient, but when you're down 26 to 10, you have to start making things happen. You have to force things. Then when you force it, that's what this Giant defense does. They pick it off. They make you make mistakes when you start to force.
Jerry Markbright, the referee. The Giants had 9 first downs in the third quarter. Denver had none.
Number 23, on intercepting time. First down.
Perry Williams, Jerry Markbright has had problems with his microphone all day. That's not ours.
But watch, we see what happens here. Elway has to get rid of the ball. He has pressure there. He's forcing it into that deep zone that we've been talking about. They get a big rush. Then the secondary just drops off, makes you force it, and then they start to pick things off like Elvis Patterson just did.
So the Giants take over first and 10 at their own 48. Sims gives to Morris, hit behind the line of scrimmage by Rulon Jones.
But Rulon Jones, he's the second man in, 75. He starts in and he gets on Billy Ard, takes him on, pushes him to the side, and then gets into backfield. Now, Morris was running a little delay there. That's why he hadn't been in the hole yet.
Amazing thing about, well, Rulon Jones and most of the Denver linemen, they're not that big, but you never seem to get a clean shot at them.
And they don't stay blocked either. You get a shot, then they bounce off, and they go running after you again.
Sims drops. Stacy Robinson, 20, 16. First down, Giants, they're moving.
You see the end of that play, Carl Mecklenburg came flying through that screen and tried to knock the ball out of Stacy Robinson's hand. Bill Sims throws some shot here. Good pass protection. See, he has a little gap there so he can step up, get a little more time, find Robinson outside. Now watch right at the end. Watch 77 come flying at him. Right there. A nice move after he caught it. See, it was more of just stopping and then starting more than it was faking.
Looked sort of casual, didn't it?
Yeah, like it was out in the park, you know, Sunday afternoon. Here, throw me one. I'll stop.
Here at the 16, Morris, right side. To the 15, Ricky Hundley. Morris got 2. Hundley was the first Bronco there.
I'll tell you one thing, this Bronco defense does go after you. They do get a lot of players at the point of attack, and watch when they get there.
You hear everybody say when you talk to teams about Joe Morris, he can't arm tackling.
Well, you know, it goes back to that physics thing again. And, you know, I got a lot of letters about, you know, what power is and the formula and all, but in all the letters, one thing I say is he has a low center of gravity, and that's why he has so much power.
Second and 9, Sims going. Going to be a flag in the end zone. Intended Bavaro. Louis Wright, the defender. Bavaro stays down momentarily, but he'll be back.
That should be more than a flag. That should be an arrest. That wasn't even close. Louis Wright knew that he was beaten, knew it was going to be a touchdown, so he just jumped all over Mark Bavaro. Watch him, he is beaten. Bavaro's behind him. Bavaro's going for the touchdown. Wright knows that he can't do that, so he just jumps on him, grabs head, neck, helmet, face mask, turns him over and everything. So what the heck? You got to be, there ought to be a citation, like a ticket for a deal like that.
First and goal on the 1. Morris again. Not in. Ricky Hundley, number 98 again. with Louis Wright. No gain. Second and goal at the 1.
Hey, it was close at halftime, but in the third quarter is where the Giants took over this game. In fact, look what happened since they went in the locker room. Giants came out and had 200 yards of offense to Denver's 2. Whatever they did in there in those locker rooms at halftime, the Giants did it the right way, and the Broncos had a little trouble with it.
Second and goal then at the 1. Giants 26, Broncos 10. The eyes and the intensity of Joe Morris. Carthon was the man on the move. Sims has to duck under it and take the sack. Pushed by Freddie Gilbert first. And that's the first sack of Sims.
There's a fight down there. They're still going after it. Guys are hooked up there.
Ricky Hundley.
Here's Joe Morris.
Third.
Hundley had Morris, so he took him all the way, even when the play was over.
Wonder how physics would work on that.
Well, then it's low. See, Morris is still looking at him. And what do you want? Physics works. You see, that's the center of gravity. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
You know, you get the speed and the time and all that stuff, and then right on top of the picture, you're going to see it. See, you see Oates there. You see some little kick in there. Morris wasn't even in on it. It was Oates and Hundley, and then Morris walked in.
Third. Sims. There's McConkey's touchdown. Look at Bavaro. He handles him like he's a rag doll. Keeping this ball.
He's not going to fumble it either. Look how he's protecting it. You don't know what kind of hits you're going to get in celebration. So he put both, look, he has both arms wrapped around it. And he grips it tightly to his body. Not going to fumble this one. You can't have this one.
Allegre for the extra point. Rutledge holding. Trying to make it 33-10. Flag down. The Broncos jumped off sides. I'm sure it'll be declined or maybe enforced on the kickoff.
There's Phil Sims. That's before the touchdown. That was calling the cadence. I think he's throwing it to Mark Bavaro.
He is.
He is. It hit Bavaro right in the face. And then McConkey came off with it. He was watching Bavaro all the way.
What a guy to get the rebound.
He'll take credit for it. As a head coach, you take credit for those that bounce off the helmet into the hand.
You have to, don't you?
Yeah.
10:56 then left to play. 33-10 Giants.
Nowadays, when it comes to telecommunications, there's a great deal of confusion. With so many different products and services available, it's a real problem knowing what's just right for your company. Well, we have a way to end that confusion and solve those problems. We can help custom tailor an entire telecommunications system to your company's exact needs. No, GTE.
No battery outruns the Energizer.
It's time to change your light bulb. Philips Longer Life Square bulbs last 33% longer than ordinary round bulbs.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Last year, Allstate paid to repair or rebuild over 600,000 homes.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
And over 1 million cars. All told, we spent over $20 million a day restoring the important things in our customers' lives.
Leave it to us to help protect what's important to you.
Your hopes and schemes, your plans and dreams. Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the the Sears Financial Network.
Wednesday, a case of murder.
He'd been stabbed.
And Tommy Lee Jones is the priest who would risk all that he held sacred.
You really want to know me?
I'll risk it. Broken vows.
Back at the Rose Bowl, the penalty was enforced. The Broncos offside. So Allegre will kick from the 40 in the direction of Gene Lang and Ken Bell. 33-10. Hit one of the Broncos on the foot. The Giants are down in mass. I don't know who came up with it. Hit Bell in the foot. The Broncos did. Bill McConkey, his touchdown he wanted so dearly.
Let's watch it here. We'll see Bavaro is here. McConkey's here. Bavaro gets bumped and goes in here. McConkey follows him like he's his little brother. Just horse around here, and then he gets the garbage off the tip. Watch him. There goes. Watch that hit there on Bavaro. McConkey's just following him in there. See, it's just nice to be hanging around him. Look what he comes up with. Touchdown.
When things are going right, they go right. Here's Elway. Gets it outside the Vance Johnson. That should be enough for a first down in Denver.
There's Sims after the touchdown. He looks, he wanted to celebrate with one of his guys, and he ended up celebrating with Dennis Smith. And then he just celebrated by himself. Then he found a guy. There's one of his guys.
Benson.
Brad Benson.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of best friends. They even lift weights together. Benson, Sims.
Burt. Here's Elway again. Screen pass, middle screen this time to Wilson. Stopped by Banks again with a gain of 5. 33-10. The Giants over the Broncos.
I think over the long run, Carl Banks is going to be the best player in this Giant defense. I think he's going to be there for a long time. I mean, he can do it all. I mean, he can cover, he can run, he can tackle, he can do everything. And we were talking to Bill Belichick. He said he's also the hardest working of all our players.
Here's Elway out of the pocket, gets it upfield, complete. Mark Jackson this time. And now he gets up limping.
Hey, those receivers of the Broncos have really taken a beating. Remember, Vance Johnson got it by Harry Carson after he caught one. Mark Jackson just looked like he got it then.
9:40 left to play. Giants leading 33-10. But Elway is always dangerous. Will Height, the receiver, right at midfield, a gain of 5. Greg Lasker to make the stop.
But they have to do it all with signals because the Broncos aren't huddling up now.
Going in a hurry. Pass caught on a rebound, and a flag goes down. Jackson came up with the completion.
See the official with his hat off? I bet that means he was out of bounds.
Yep.
But you can come in, if you're out of bounds, you can come in and catch a tip pass, though. See, but the hat off means that the player went out of bounds. Then he throws the flag. But what they're saying is that he can go out and then come back in. He can't come back in and be the first receiver. There he goes, he's out. Now he can come back in. Now, if that was a tip ball, he can catch it.
Well, that's exactly what they ruled after discussing things. Those Gil Mace had made the judgment.
Well, you can see the tip here. See, he can't come back in and be the original. He can come back in and catch a tip pass, and that's what happened.
Bounced off Lasker. Hand off Sewell. Blockers in front. And Sewell for another Bronco first down and out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
I'll tell you, there is some contact down there. Did you notice that sound that you hear? And this game's in stereo. So being down there sideline, you can hear boom, whack, whack, ah. But I don't know what it feels like in stereo. I mean, there's a boom, 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 around the room.
Pretty much the same, I think. Even in stereo.
How does sweat look in stereo? How does a chewed mouthpiece look?
In stereo?
How does spit sound in stereo?
Loud. Denver first down as Elway gives straight ahead again to Wilhite. That play by Sewell was their first rush of the second half. Now that's the second. Banks on the stop again, but a gain of 6.
Well, what the Broncos are thinking now is they just want to get one in quickly and be able to do some onside kicking and try and pull something out here.
2nd and 4. Elway fires incomplete. Intended for Kay. He just couldn't come up with it.
I know what Bill Parcells is thinking now. You're ahead by 23 points. You really got this game. You've waited all your life for it. Now you just want everything to hurry up. Hurry up. Get this thing over and let us go to celebrating this season. Because we never could all year. After every game, someone's going to say, well, how about next week? After this one, they won't say that.
The next thing is training camp.
How about next year, Coach? Can you do it again?
3rd and 4. Here's Elway scrambling up the middle. Got the first down. Collins on the stop. Elway got 6. But the clock runs now with just over 8 minutes, and now that's the figure. 8 left. Giants 33. Denver 10. The book on Elway.
Well, he had a great first half. They had the opportunities. We talked about it. They got inside the 23 times and only came up with 7 points. 2 missed field goals, but once they were on the 1-yard line and couldn't score.
Here's the reverse again to Sewell. And again, it's Carl Banks who makes the stop. 5-yard loss.
It's funny how much we've seen Carl Banks and not Lawrence Taylor. I think maybe they're running more at Banks. Banks is more involved in the game. But I'll tell you, he is a force, that guy. And he's not in the Pro Bowl. There he goes. Now he's starting to wave that crowd on. Look at him. He was a helicopter. He thinks he is a helicopter the way he does that. He thinks he's one.
2nd and 16, back at the 20. Elway up into the pocket, now down the middle. Elway stays on his feet, is out of bounds at about the 12. Carson knocked him out of bounds, but he got 6.
You don't think he's strong? Did you see him with his left arm? He gave Elvis Patterson, who's a strong guy, he gave him a straight arm and got by him. Well, you have to respect this guy. There's Elvis Patterson, is still down after that straight arm by Elway. That looks like a cramp, though.
6:47 left to play. It's the Giants 33, Super Bowl 21, the Broncos 10.
They were a breed unlike any other. Never the biggest, just the toughest. Introducing a new breed of American truck, the new mid-size Dodge Dakota. Roaming into full-size territory with almost as much standard payload as some full-size Ford and Chevy pickups. Plus available V6 power and 8-foot bed, all for hundreds less. Dodge Dakota. Full-size ability, compact agility. A lean new breed of American truck.
Peter said I could have anything I wanted. So I took his Van Heusen shirt right off his back.
Van Heusen, for a man to wear and a woman to borrow.
If you're looking for a simple way to apply for the American Express card, simply pick up one of these, because now you can apply over the phone. Just call 1-800-THE-CARD.
Did I say I'd come today? Does he know I'm on my way? Are you there? Where are you? Don't you care anymore?
The Goodyear Eagle GT Plus 4 is the performance tire with all-season capabilities, and that can make all the difference in the world.
Take me home. Take me home. Goodyear, Goodyear, take me home.
With a front line like this, it's a whole new ball game. Cheer up, you Monday morning quarterbacks. The season may be over, but Designing Women is taking the field next Sunday.
6:47 left in Super Bowl 21. The Giants 33, the Broncos 10. 3rd and 8. Broncos have it at the Giant 12. Up the middle is Elway again. Slides to the 10. That'll bring up a 4th down. Harry Carson there to make sure he stayed down.
Well, that's why he went down, because Harry Carson was there. Harry Carson and Banks were both standing there, and Elway had to go to the slide. Now John Carlos gets another shot at it. Rich Carlos gets another shot at it.
He's missed twice. He hit once from 48 yards out. Missed from 23 and 34. 6:12 left. Kubiak holding. Carlos hits this one. And it's 33-13. 6:01 left to play. The Broncos have all of their timeouts remaining. 33-13.
The ninja. His strength and swiftness have become legend. Yet even the ninja knows all things must hide from the hurricane. Hurricane Honda. It will come in the spring of the new year.
Rollo, where's the package?
I have no idea. And the Air Express Company has no idea either.
Hold it. If you'd used Federal Express, you wouldn't be having this problem. Come with me. Federal tracks your package with scanners from where it's picked up to where it's delivered. Giving you its exact status within 30 minutes for your money back.
Next time, send it Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
I had no idea Federal did that. Absolutely no idea.
Right now we're getting a blood pressure, and I don't know what his vital signs are. I don't know what he took.
2 minutes. No timeouts. No way to stop the clock. When you overdose, time is against you.
Her pupils are constricted, and she's not responsive to painful stimulus.
It's a desperate attempt to rally before your last breath is gone.
Nurse, let's call it. It's over.
When you play with drugs, 2 minutes can mean the difference between life and sudden death.
Denver, as John Madden was just talking about, taking the field goal to make it 33-13 now. They have everybody left of Rich Carlos for an onside kick. And the Giants handle it well. Bobby Johnson right there, the good hands guys.
Well, I think that makes sense that they did that. There's, we see the buckets. Now there's a 3rd bucket this week. I think what happened, there's always been like a mother and father. Like this is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last game, they had a baby bucket. So this is a baby bucket. So they got 3 now. There's always been 2. One's going to go to Parcells, one's going to go to another assistant, and one will go to a player later in the game.
I guess that clears up the question as to whether they're married or not.
Well, yeah, well, they got married. Yeah, they got married in that baby bucket.
That's Roussan over the right side and out of bounds by Steve Wilson. That's the bucket
Well,
stat.
you ought to, I mean, the bucket, you know, that's how big it is. I mean, 3rd year in the league, and then you ask questions like, is it married? Yeah, bucket's married. Bucket, you got a family bucket? Yep, got a baby bucket. And then brought the ice because we're in California. Family.
Heavy ice.
See, the baby can't sit up there with the mom and dad, though.
5:51 left to play. Roussan went out of bounds. 1st and 10 Giants. Roussan and Carthon are the 2 runners. Carson sneaks over the left side. Rulon Jones on the stop. 33-13. The Broncos were here once before in the Super Bowl. Lost to Dallas. The Giants have never been in a Super Bowl.
Hey, that's a tough thing on that Broncos sideline. I think the gap between winning and losing the Super Bowl is as big a gap as there is in sport. The winner is a world champion. The loser just gets thrown back in with the other 26. There's no place for number 2. No one goes right. We're number 2. We're number 2. Only number 1.
Ball's at the Denver 25. Cartham over the left side. Spins for maybe 2, maybe 1. Stopped by Jim Ryan. Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Super Bowl 21. Over 100,000 people. And that's the situation right there. 33-13. Sims has 3 touchdown passes. The Giants have scored 24 points in the second half. It was 10-9 Denver at the half. Denver had some early chances. Couldn't capitalize. Jim Burke, Harry Carson, who will handle the bucket ceremony. Unless he's just a decoy today. 3rd and 6. 4:20 left to play. Sims with the ball. Sims down to the 10. Inside the 5 to the 2. Another one of those that was not called, I'm sure. Nobody knew he was going to do that but him.
Well, you talk about a decoy. That time, Joe Morris was a decoy. The running back was a decoy. They started everything going to the right. Watch, they start here. Fake this way. Phil Sims fakes, comes back and runs this way. Watch these linebackers. Watch him start this way and not even see Phil Sims. Watch, the backs go that way. Look at the linebackers run over towards Morris. And here's Sims all by himself with nothing in here. So he just runs right up in there where there's nothing in there. And gets it all the way down to the 2.
And it's 1st and goal from there. Maurice Carthon and Otis Anderson. Now the running back. Anderson, touchdown, Giants.
O.J. Anderson, he's congratulating all the linemen. He's congratulating everyone. This is his Super Bowl touchdown. Traded from the Cardinals. Really didn't play a lot, but he's going to be in the record book. Now, from now on, it turns into fun for the blue jerseys.
And you just hope it's over on the other side of the field.
On the other side, it just stays with you for a long, long time.
Allegre missed the extra point. And so the score remains 39-13 with 3:18 left to play.
Yeah, one thing about the Super Bowl, you know, the players get money, they get a ring, there's a Super Bowl trophy, and that stuff all stays with you, but just the thought that you were the best, you were the champion, is the greatest feeling. And it's big today, and it's one of those things that is big when it happens and gets bigger as the years go on.
Well, the distractions increase, the demands increase, and I think it gets tougher every year to repeat.
Well, that's going to be the next thing. I mean, I think the Giants are going to win this. They ought to be able to celebrate. I've always thought they ought to give the winning Super Bowl team a sabbatical. They don't have to play the next year. They just go around, they do parades, they do this, they do banquets. They don't have to play, and then they come back because it is tough. And that's going to be the next question when they get in the locker room. Can you repeat?
Then you're going to find out where the parade is.
They got a parade. I think it's going to be in the Giant Stadium.
At Giant Stadium, right. Bell with the return to about the 31. Knocked down by Andy Hedden. Return of 20. Again, those shots from overhead looking down at the Rose Bowl. From the darkness now, the slice blimp.
You know, Pat, we had 3 blimps up there today. We had 3 blimps, and we had helicopters. But the blimps, it was an NFL record, Super Bowl record. Yeah, no, it's a world record. There were more blimps over a football game than any game in the history of the sport today.
And that's in the record book. Here's Wilhite. 11 yards, first down, Denver. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Elway, Wilhite. Giant territory to about the 47. Lawrence Taylor on the stop. Another Denver first down, a gain of 11. 2.5 minutes left to play. 39-13 Giants. Denver in the hurry-up. Elway threw a grounder, stops the clock with 2:20. In the direction of Wilhite again.
This is the type of thing that I'm sure that the Bronco players are just thinking, why don't we just run it out? Get this thing over with. The Giant players are probably thinking the same thing.
Probably.
I wonder what the one guy, did you see number 36, Mark Haynes, was sitting there on that Bronco bench. Of course, he was traded this year from the Giants to the Broncos. Where he is playing in the Super Bowl for the Broncos against his old teammates.
2nd and 10 outside from Elway again. Intended for Wilhite. There's Mark Haynes.
Yeah, that has to be a tough thing that you're on one team and you're playing your old teammates who you were around when they were building. They have to be all your friends, guys like Brad Benson there.
That's one of the good things about this being the last game of the season. He's got a chance for his nose to get well.
I think Carson threw a fake to the bucket. Seeing Jim Burt there, I think they're starting to plan their ceremony. Not doing it, just planning it now.
Elway up into the pocket, out of the pocket, down the middle. Pass caught by Vance Johnson, touchdown. What a heck of a catch and what a heck of a throw by Elway. Kenny Hill and Herb Welch both back there. 46-yard touchdown pass.
The Broncos thought they were going to be able to do this. They just hoped it would come a little early. You know, that ball control thing, then go for a couple scrambles and try and get a deep one later. See, Elway can buy time. He just steps up, moves to the left a little, and then he just uncorks this thing down here to Vance Johnson. There, Herb Welch didn't even see that thing coming. It just went right over his shoulder.